Hello, welcome to the Sutliffian Report. I guess I'm having some difficulties with Rumble, and I will fix that later and we'll upload there later on. So, if you're wondering why the Rumble isn't live, it's probably some mistake that I made. And as this is a Christian show, I always start with a reading from God's Word. So I'm going to share with you. This is my thoughts this month. I'm starting to read the Book of John, and I'm kind of excited. Um, with some of the things you can learn from just spending time reading God's Word. So I read John 1, verses 1 to 4. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The Word of God, meaning the Bible, was not designed that a verse stands alone on its own. This is a fascinating truth found in Isaiah 28, 9 to 13. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breasts. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, this is the rest wherewith you may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, and here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken. We often hear John 1:1 standing alone, while perverters of truth attempt to distort reality by attempting to change doctrine by tearing at this verse. In truth, those who attempt to distort scriptures are mocked by the word of God because they represent lies. Lies can never stand up to the truth because scripture was designed not to stand alone. It is something altogether beautiful that requires great study. In John 1:1, we have a verse that begins with, in the beginning, God. Most people have been brought up in or around a church, have heard those words before. They come from Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. What does this tell us about John's gospel? It starts on the foundation that Jesus was and always has been God. John wants us to understand the depths of his proclamation of good news from the very first sentence. John, the person described as the disciple whom Jesus loved, desired that we should know that God loved us first. Even from the creation of the earth that we stand on, God loved us. These first few sentences in John proclaim our loving Creator who loved us so much, he came down to live amongst us. He came to give us something so special, something so incredible that you must read on to learn more. John has set the hook. He's put the bait out there for all to continue reading. Will you dare to begin the journey of a study in the Gospel of John? And this is the beginning of the devotional that I am working on this topic. And I'm only five entries in, and I'm having fun. It's nice to get back into the depths of the gospel message when you're studying. I was having a little tough time getting through Isaiah. I'll be honest about that. It's not an easy book to get through. It's an in-depth study. So when you do an in-depth study, you find yourself learning far more than you expect. And I'll be honest, that's not always pleasant. I say it's not always pleasant because if you really want to get in depth and you want to find as much as you can, you have to dig in order to understand. Some things in scripture are not easy to learn, and some things are harder to learn. And if you really want to spend the time and knowing more about God and what he wants for you, that's what we all need to get to that stage where we're trying to do that in-depth part. And you know what it does for you? It changes your life. That's the one thing I'm going to say. Changed my life, made me a better person, made me a harder worker, and working towards representing the living Christ. So here we go. I have to say, I started the research for this. I got it done. And as I was finishing this, I came up with a picture. Now, the picture here on this front page, it says 20 pounds. You pay this for the fee for breaking an oath. That's what it says right there. And it says 120 pounds for breaking a fast. We're going to get into what that means. You'll be laughing in a bit. And you're going to find out we're kind of laughing because you know what? This piece is in the end of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about, again, this comes out of the Book of Crimes in the Reliance of the Traveler. Right? This was the Book of Crimes. They call it the Book of Justice. Well, the correct translation is not justice, it's Book of Crimes. This is the joy of working with people who know Arabic to find out hidden things. So we're going to get into a couple hidden things. Here we go. And Sharon, since you were first back and we're glad to have you back, would you mind reading the left here on the penalty for drinking?
Sure.
Again, we're glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. Okay, the penalty for drinking. Any beverage that intoxicates when taken in large quantities is unlawful both in small and large quantities, whether it is wine, a fermented raisin drink, or something else. Do you want me to go on?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. The penalty for drinking is obligatory enforced against anyone who A. drinks, B. has reached puberty, C. is sane, D. is Muslim, C. does so voluntarily, and F. and knows it is unlawful. The restrictions mentioned above about the ignorance of the prohibition of adultery also applying here. Huh?
So, Sharon, let me ask you. I don't know if you. I guess I took my first drink probably about age of 16.
60?
Yeah, that would have been me. Yeah, 16.
Oh, 16. Okay.
Yeah, 16. I don't really drink much. I was raised. My parents remind me almost every day of my young life that the reason I don't have grandfathers is both of them were alcoholics.
Oh.
From my mother's side, my father's side. And then I say my mother's grandfather was also an alcoholic. My mother's my mother's mother, and she was an alcoholic also. So we were told all this time, don't drink. You don't want to be the one like you're growing up without grandparents. You know why. Don't be the one who drinks because you don't want to grow up. You don't want your grandchildren to grow up without a grandparent, without having you there to see them. So that's how I look at it. I'm not going to be ever against, never be saying you shouldn't drink, but at the same time, I think I can understand the prohibition. But I have a real big question. I think Eric will laugh at this one. If you're not drinking alcohol here and you're in Mecca, what are you drinking? Because it sure ain't water.
Oh. Camel pee?
Well, I mean, besides your own pee, what is there to drink? Because it's a desert.
I thought they were shipping in water, or they had a well that they're converting ocean water to regular drinking water. I thought something like that was going on.
Well, we're talking about
way back
Muhammad's day. Yeah, what are you supposed to drink?
Really, it's
what do you think?
4 inches of 4.3 annual inches of rainfall fall in Mecca.
So where are they getting this water from? I mean, because otherwise, what are you drinking there? I mean, you can't even drink your own pee because there's nothing.
Now they're getting it from desalination plants, but at the time, Mecca. Jason did a really good job of commenting on this. He says it's really easy to disprove the existence of Mecca in the 7th century because they have no water. If you don't have any water, you don't have any plants. You don't have any plants, you don't have any food. You don't have any food, you don't have any animals. You don't have animals, you don't have any civilization. You don't have any civilization, you don't have Islam. It's real simple. No water, no religion.
Well, I mean, okay, you want to see how fast stuff ferments? I mean, when you're traveling through the desert, I mean, I can get traveling, but not staying someplace.
Yeah, but Mecca wasn't on the trade route, so
yes, you're correct. But that's the story they paint.
Yeah.
It was it's way off the trade route. That's Eric's done wonderful stuff on this.
It's 2,000 feet. It's 2,000 feet down off of the plateau. There's no reason, if you're following that trade route, to come 2,000 feet off the plateau to go to Mecca. There's none whatsoever. There's no civilizations that are inhabited or inhabitable down there. There's no types of goods that you can trade with anybody down there. Number one, there's no people, but nothing can be developed or cultivated in that region. There's no reason why Mecca would have been part of any trade out. Patricia Corona and Michael Cook do a good job of debunking was it Montgomery Watts who first proposed this trade route, that Mecca was part of this major trade route. And they debunk it completely, simply because there's no reason to go to Mecca because it's so far off of the plateau. It's down and there's nothing there. But also you have the Gulf of Aqaba there on the west coast of Arabia. Why not just keep it on a ship and ship it up that way? So it's
exactly.
Makes no sense.
So I find this interesting also because in Muslim countries, this is the Sharia. It says, okay, the only ones who are supposed to be getting punished here are Muslims. Yet, if you actually go to an Islamic country, are they letting the non-Muslims drink? No. I'm not saying I think drinking alcohol is a good thing, but they're imposing the desires for their own selves on others. And that's something we have to understand, that this is taken. I find on the right, the one that got me out of the Google Translate, it's this. I double checked this. This thing that says the limit for him is imposed. That is the penalty. When they're talking about a limit here on the right, they're talking about a penalty. It's just the wording is a little bit odd, but that's what that's what they mean. And so today's reading, when I asked Yusuf and Usama to help me with some of the understanding of why this, I mean, some of this stuff was really weird, the way it was written in Arabic. And it's like you can't do, on some of these, you can't do a word-for-word translation. And that happens in different languages. You can't, because you have to understand the culture and a few other things. So we're going to see that. Now, Eric, you're a military guy. What do we do to soldiers who get caught drinking?
Drinking?
And they're not supposed to be.
You receive a punishment. We had soldiers when I was in Iraq were got a hold of some alcohol. We were, it's a prohibition, theater wide not to consume alcohol, and they were given what do they call that? They got what we call an Article 15, which is a punishment from the commander. You have to do extra duty. There's a fine involved. In some cases, you can be reduced in rank. But these guys were both. One was a senior NCO in E7. The other one was in E6.
Oh boy. So
the company commander did not have the authorization to reduce them in rank, but he did fine them.
So fine's not a bad deal. Where do you see the penalty? I know you probably know, Eric.
But Paul, let me just also preface it with this. That goes into your official military record, and once you get something like that in your official military record, which is reviewed every year, especially at those senior ranks, you're done. You're never getting promoted again, and you'd be lucky to continue your career. You get what they call a QMP, qualitative management program, where you will be forced out of the service.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's more severe than what it sounds. What I made it sound.
Yeah. So and that's I picked on the military because if you think about these rules, and so Muhammad had created his own military. He was the leader of his own military. That's part of how he became a political leader. And this is, I mean, those are simple rules. You get fined, you get a write up. Okay. But look at this one. This is just crazy. Darcy, would you mind reading 16.3?
Absolutely not. The penalty for drinking is to be scourged 40 stripes, hands, sandals, and ends of clothes. It may be administered with a whip, but if the offender dies, an indemnity is due from the scourger for his death. If the caliph increases the penalty to 80 stripes, it is legally valid, but if the offender dies from the increase, the caliph must pay an adjusted indemnity, such that if he is given 41 stripes and dies, the caliph must pay 141st.
141st. Yeah, believe it or yeah, Muhammad doesn't do well in that, but then Allah doesn't either. All right. So I'm going to take a look on the right, what I have highlighted on the 40 stripes, 40 lashes. I just want you to think about it that way. I put it as 40 lashes. It's interesting they use the word scourge. A scourge to me is a whip with things attached at the end that would rip your skin, rip into your muscle. There's nothing in the Arabic that indicate it is a scourge. That I checked that. It is 40 lashes for a free man and 20 for a slave. Notice they didn't say anything about slave on the left. Oh. So
there's also another point. 40 for a free man,
yes.
But then for a slave, that's just...
Well, remember the slave is probably not a Muslim, but he's owned by the Muslim. So the Muslim gets a more severe punishment in this case. The Muslim should know better. Not to say a slave doesn't know better, but we don't usually read stuff like that, but that is what they're saying. And then we go, if he dies with whips, the blood money is due. We're back to the payoff, the extortion. You got to buy it, otherwise you don't pay it off, you get attacked. So whoever the person is who is overseeing this whipping can be attacked, because that's part of the law. We've covered it. They have a right to get revenge is the best way to put it. It says if the imam sees to increase it for a free man to 80, but for a slave to 40. It's the only place we're going to find less punishment for a slave. But if he dies from the increase, the imam must compensate for his debt. And they're paying less for the slave, of course. Can you read 16.4, Darcy, please?
Absolutely. And just wait for my comments after that. Someone who commits adultery several times, or drinks several times, or steals several times before being punished is only punished once for each type of crime. Oh, but wait, aren't they supposed to have witnesses? And that only applies to the women, because I never hear of men being charged with adultery in Islam, just the women.
Well, you brought all the witnesses when you raped the girl. Now you can turn around and say, oh, she was wanton. So you had all these gang rapers with you. Now you have the witnesses against her, so she can't win. This is the horrible. You know what kills me here? Okay, you commit several different. So let's say you get drunk, you drink an awful lot. You drink more because you're going to get 40 lashes. Why not? Okay, so go and do it a few more times. You know, take 40 lashes for about 100. You know, however how much you can drink. Is it worth it? Oh, don't forget to steal while you're at it. Don't forget to commit adultery while you're at it, because you're only going to get punished once if you do it more often. I'm just like, so if you commit adultery repeatedly and you're only getting punished once, that's reason to do the crime more than once. I mean, you talk about a serial offender. This is crazy.
And also, being punished once, and there's only says once. But what happens when they go out and do it again and again?
Well, if you get caught each time, that's it. But if you don't,
Right? They've already been
charged
punished.
once for all the times you're giving. Yeah, you got to sit here and on Usama's show, we're talking about how one of the things I get really upset about is I'm picking on the Brits because that's my heritage. They didn't defend their women. They found these guys who were committing horrible crimes against their children, their daughters, and they did nothing. If you do nothing, people continue to commit the same crime. This is encouragement to, again, this is the book of crimes. This is encouragement to commit the same crime over and over again. That's the only way I can look at this. Anybody else have different thoughts? All right.
Well, I think, well, no, this absolutely does provide not an authorization, what's the word I'm looking for, an excuse to commit crimes. You talk about where what happened to all those girls in Rotterdam and elsewhere, all throughout England.
Yes.
Them quislings, that to me is a lack of Westerners standing up not only for their culture, little girls, law and order, but also our religion. Because what they are attempting to do in England is impose their religious beliefs, culture upon the West. And England is either going to have to stand up and fight, or just they're going to go the way of the dodo bird. There's that, and it's the longer they wait, along with France, the bloodier it's going to be when the time comes to exile these people. It'll be 1492, like I mentioned in my show the other night, 1492 all over again.
That is exactly what's going to happen. We've already had a possible beginning of a civil war there between the Muslims and others. That happened this past summer. You wait.
It looks like
happen any day now.
It looks like
Tommy's
Tommy
out.
Robinson is going to go back to jail too. He seems to be the only one, or one of very few who are speaking up, and he ends up in jail. But that's because they've been voting in Muslims
Yes.
into.
And how do they get voted in? They become citizens really quick.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. This is just, yeah. And it's happening. Sweden, I read an article just today, just to tell you how bad it is. The Swedes are now leaving Sweden. They're going to Finland and islands in the Finlands so they can raise their children in safety.
You know, one day there's going to be nowhere to run if people keep running.
That's the difference between being an American and between being a Canadian or a Frenchie. Frenchies run, Canadians run, the Americans we fight, and the Brits tend to fight. But
they're not fighting
most
now.
others don't. The Germans should fight, but they've been given up for so long, I don't know. All right, let's go on to this next one. 16.5. Would you mind, Eric?
Yep. The penalty for a crime is not obviated. Is that the word?
Yes.
Obviated by the offenders having repented for it, with the sole exception of the highwayman, who is not penalized at all if he repents before he is caught.
Wait a minute, Eric. Is there any? Why would you have? If you get caught? How do you know if he? How do you know if the guy repented before he was caught? By the way.
If he repents before he is caught. If you like, let's say if you rob somebody and you take off down the road and you feel bad about it, and you go to the authorities and say, here's the money that I stole from these people, or you go back to the people and you give it back to them and apologize, you repent.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Um,
Then maybe it wouldn't punish him. He realized he did something wrong. But wait a minute, we're talking about a highwayman. Highwaymen, you're not going to know who they are until you catch them.
Wasn't Muhammad a highwayman? Didn't he rob
Yes.
a bunch of friends coming out of Mecca or something along those lines?
He's a highwayman. So we let the highwayman go because Muhammad was a highwayman.
You have to. You just say, I'm just following Sunnah.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sorry. All of this only applies Muslim to Muslim. If he steals from a Muslim, if they, because they can steal whatever they want from unbelievers.
Well, it's not stealing if they take it from us. It's going to its rightful owner if they steal from us.
Yeah.
Infidels.
Yeah.
That's the difference. They don't consider it theft. That's the honest truth. Okay, Eric, can you read the next one also, please?
Yep. Let's see here. It is not permissible to drink an intoxicant under any circumstances, whether for medicine or in bread or to cook meat with it or out of extreme thirst, with the sole exception of when one is choking on a piece of food and there is no other means of clearing it from one's throat save by drinking the intoxicant, in which case it is obligatory.
So wait a minute. Let me see if I understand this. I just happen to have a bottle of wine around, and excuse me, I must take a drink.
Yeah, there you go. I was joking. Come on, cut me some slack. What is it?
I need drink. Oh, I was joking.
What I'm trying to figure out is that why are you in possession of intoxicant?
That's what I'm getting at. So it's like, so you arrest people in this country for coming over the border with marijuana. But let's say you're in New York State. New York State, they pretty much legalized it for any usage at all. How come you have this on you, and they reek of weed? Well, we just getting high, man. But it's not legal to own it in the United States, but it's legal to smoke it. Yeah, in New York State, it's legal to do anything you want with it. All right.
There are so
Can't
many
sell
states
it.
that, like the state that I live in, it's still illegal to have it, possess it, sell it, but there are shops that are selling it right off the front counter. I don't know how they're getting away with it, but the
state wants to make money. It's tax money.
But how can you sell it if it is criminal to possess and sell it? That's what I don't. Maybe I'd ask.
You probably have the medical exemption rule.
No, this is right. This is like gas stations are doing it.
Then that makes no sense because I would be checking to see if you got the only thing that would make sense, because usually it starts with a medical exemption rule. That's all I can think of. All right, let's this is if you take a look at the rest of this. I went through, look at the Google Translate. This was interesting. They talk about the words of Sheikh al-Islam, or he should not take it for medical treatment or thirst, and he is not punished for it, even if he can find something else. So wait a minute. I need a little bit of medicine. I need a white wine or a red wine every night. Yeah, actually, red wine is a normal medicine, believe it or not. I've worked in different places where a glass of red wine was prescribed to elderly people. They had one glass a night prescribed. It was a medical prescription, and it's supposed to be good for your health, that red wine. Okay. And this is an opinion. Even if he can find something else, what was mentioned about prohibiting medical treatment of drinking for the thirst applies to its disposal. This is just stupid. I'm sorry. This here is all comment from this part all the way down. So we're going to stop on this one. it has nothing to do with stuff. And we're going to be looking at how some of this has nothing to do with the Quran in a bit. This is going to be fun. I think some of this stuff is funny because it ignores what the Quran actually says in some of this. I'll be pulling back to this later. All right, here we go. Now, I will read this one. 16.7. The term beverage includes plants such as hashish. Eric, you worked with law enforcement one time. Have you ever heard of hashish being called a beverage?
No. I will tell you a funny. When I was in Iraq, we were actually we were going through Baghdad on our way to Mosul, and we had stopped the convoy that I was in. We had stopped, and there was several civilians in the area, and one of the guys came up to me, had a jacket on, opened it up, and asked me, and it had a bag of hashish in his jacket, big bag. Like this bag, like a pound of it. And he goes, do you want to buy? And I'm like, no, dude, what is wrong with you? But what he was trying to do is he was trying to sell it to soldiers because this was, when everybody was making the push north. He's just trying to, make a sell of hashish. So
I had some real hard times with this. I know it says it here, such as, again, beverage and hashish, I can't see the two of them together. Maybe, all right. Over here on the right, look at it. I have, like the hashish that the ravenous eat. Oh, they got the munchies. So they've already gotten high. The ravenous eat. I just thought that was, to me, that just reminded me of the people getting the munchies that I used to work McDonald's many, many years ago. And after the bars were out, bars were closed, and they got their munchie, they did their pot. Guess where they'd come to that one McDonald's that was open 24 hours. It was my store. Yeah, they'd come and with their ravenous desires to eat. Yes.
They're the munchies. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. That's just going to make me laugh. Eating is forbidden, and there is no. Okay. The two sheikhs narrated in the chapter on the foods from Al-Ruwani that eating is forbidden and there's no prescribed punishment for it. Well, it's because they got the munchies. Okay. They have the munchies because if hashish is considered alcohol and you're not allowed to have hashish because it's alcohol. I mean, you're not drinking anything. How is it called a beverage?
I have seen signs in states where it is legal, where they have converted marijuana into a beverage. I don't know how they do it. I don't know the processes involved, but I've seen signs, road signs, because you always see these signs for, cannabis dispensary here, but they also advertise the ability to just have a drink of it. You can drink it, or edibles. Edibles are another.
I could just see this is your new form of tea. We're mixing coffee and hashish together today. Oh, yeah. All right. Here we go. Just as beverages that intoxicates, we're reading on the left here, when taken in large quantities, it's also unlawful in small quantities. You know what's funny here? You take a look here on the right. Just this large amount of liquids. I mean, if you're having hashish tea, I just kind of, that stuff you just got to sit there and go, all right, one should be aware of solid things that are harmful to the mind or other parts of the body. That I agree with. That actually makes sense. One should be aware of things that are harmful to the body or other parts of the body. This is harmful amount if it's consumed. I mean, alcohol can be harmful to your body. I still think marijuana kills brain cells. So, yeah, I can look at kids I've worked with that, so many brain cells gone from being on so much Mary Jane. Yeah. and they look at me when I say that, those kind of words. Like, kids will look at me like, "How come you know those words?" They're like, "Oh, yeah, Mary Jane's older than you are." Yeah. All right. Now here's the disciplinary action. All right. Sharon, can you read 17.1, please?
Yeah. Someone who commits an act of disobedience to Allah Most High that entails neither a prescribed legal penalty nor expiation, such as bearing false witness, is disciplined to the extent the Caliph deems appropriate. He exercises his own legal reasoning, ijtihad, and does what he thinks should be done, whether imprisonment and beating, either one separately or merely reprimand. He may not administer a more severe degree of punishment than what he feels is strictly necessary. Do you want me to go on?
So, yeah, keep going. We're going to find out what this is. What are
Okay,
they talking about?
17.2. Disciplinary action may not reach the amount of the least prescribed legal penalty. For example, a free man, if scourged, may not receive 40 stripes.
Okay, now look at this. The 40 stripes we read about on the page before. I think it's the page before. Or the page before that. I'm sorry. 40. We're still going back a page. All right. 40 flashes. It says it's 40 lashes, right?
Yeah.
And 20 for a slave. But if we go ahead, now they're not getting 40 lashes. Wait a minute. Are they telling us they lied before? I mean, shall be punished according to what the judge deems appropriate. I mean, be a combination of imprisonment and flogging. He may limit himself to either of them. He may limit himself. These are very, very confusing words. They're not. And if you get down here, it shall not reach the lowest of the prescribed punishment. The lowest. I mean, 40. I mean, so if you're giving less than 40, I'm kind of. What would be the lowest number? They say, okay, they say you can get 10 to 20. That means you're getting 20 or 11. If you're going to give there's no place they define what this means.
It's probably
We
just
talk about
like
being sent. Yeah, somebody says you're going to get 25 to 50 lashes. You're never going to get 25. You're always going to get more. I don't even want to think about that, how bad that could be. This is just crazy. All right. We're going to go on and have a little bit more. I think we're almost done with the drinking punishments. Eric, would you mind 17.3? You're okay. I'm guessing you're muted. Okay. Oh, you can't. Okay.
Muted myself. Sorry. Okay.
All right.
That's my fault. If the caliph sees fit not to take any disciplinary action, this is also permissible when it concerns the right owed to Allah Most High, for the ruler is entrusted with using his own legal reasoning. But if it concerns a right owed to a fellow human being who has demanded that it be fulfilled, such as when someone has been cheated, it is impermissible to do nothing. If a person is entitled to have another discipline, but instead forgives him, the ruler may nevertheless discipline him.
I'm a little confused here. Does the guy get punished or not? It sounds like it's within the imam's discretion. Okay, you drank. You're my friend, so we're not going to punish you. It almost sounds like they can do that.
Well, hold on. But if it concerns if the caliph sees fit to not do it, it's okay. But when it concerns the right owed to Allah Most High, for the ruler is entrusted with using his own legal reasoning.
So this is the interesting part. When we see the word caliph in here, they use the word caliph almost synonymously with the word imam. That's a huge difference. But that's how Sharia is written. They use caliph and imam interchangeably. So if the caliph is just the guy in charge of the local mosque, and I mean I didn't write Sharia. That's just what they do. So the local imam, he's got friends. He doesn't want them to be punished. He just says, "Oh, so we're not going to punish you." But the guy doesn't know he's getting those 40 lashes. That's just weird. This one, 17.4. I'm reading from the right. The father has the right to punish his guardian. I was like, what? Even if he is high, for committing an inappropriate act, it is similar to this for a mother with a boy. The husband has the right to punish his wife for his right, and the teacher has the right to punish the one he is learning. This is really teacher may discipline his students, how they took it. Spanking a student, for example, is permissible if there's a valid purpose to be served thereby. If you actually watch videos on YouTube, or you just look on the search on the internet, you'll find severe punishments given. I don't know why this ended up in this area. I think it's a mistake. This doesn't belong here. I actually don't think either one of these pieces belong here. I have no idea why they're here. It doesn't make sense, because it doesn't fit everything around it. I mean, if you look up the stuff of imams or who are leading masjids or I shouldn't say that, they're leading the schools. You look up and you'll see how they use corporal punishment to a severity, where you see them taking canes and beating people. They don't memorize a verse right; they're beating them. I mean, it can get bloody. They'll have kids chained in schools. Every year you find articles on this stuff, and this is, I mean, all over the world in Islam that this stuff is going on. Shocking. It's just shocking. All right, let me come back here.
The Quran is meant to be memorized, not understood.
Yes.
So if you can't memorize it, then how can you ever understand it?
All
That's
right.
the thing behind it. It's so backwards. It's pathetic.
So, Sharon, I'm going to ask you to read this because you read the first one. And when you're done, I want you to tell me how similar is this. So I'm going to make it real easy. You ready? Read the small print. Read the stuff on the right this time.
Oh, on the right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oath. An oath is only valid if taken by an adult, sane, free-willed person who intends to take an oath, whether Muslim or non-Muslim.
What's the difference there? There's only one difference.
Whether
I should say two. Yeah, Muslim or non-Muslim.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the part that kills me when I read this. An oath is only valid if the person intended to take the oath. So if he's crossing his fingers, putting them behind his back, I promise, I vow, I make an oath, and he's crossing his fingers. I mean, those are things little kids do. In today's world, in the business world, you offer your hand to seal a deal, right? What if their concept of shaking hands, they say if we have to shake hands, in their head they're saying the deal's off. Oh, okay. Every deal you're going to make in the business world, you usually shake hands. If he's saying that in his head, oh, I'm going to break this deal as soon as we shake hands. Okay. That's the intent. The intent is to break the vow. You're okay.
Does this apply to the what do you call it? It's a jihad, a form of jihad, lying? Because I got this list of things that they can do lying, and one of them is Hayal, H-I-Y-A-L.
Yes. Yeah, it is in there, and this is the part I look at this as the most dangerous thing.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about the difference between Christianity in Judaism and this, because we're going to refer to the scriptures about what is a man of integrity. But right off the bat here, I mean, if you're a Muslim and you're in a business and somebody reads this, do you want to do business with the guy who's a Muslim? I mean, are you willing to take a chance that he'll break his contract just because he doesn't believe in his contract because he didn't intend to keep it?
I would say, Paul, here in the United States, Paul, you're probably safe because of the laws, non-discriminatory laws that we have based on religion. However, if we were in Pakistan, Sukkistan, or wherever, no, absolutely never in a million years would I engage in commerce with somebody in a Muslim majority country.
Okay, let's try this today in a place called London. Would you dare to make a deal with a man? I mean, the guy who used to own, what was it, the largest...
I'm sorry.
The guy who used to own the largest store in London, I can't even think of the name of it, who died, I think, last year, who was caught cheating on so many women. You think he made, when he signed up to take in the new people, I think he actually went bankrupt at some point because of all the deals he was making with the women. But yeah, intend to take an oath. You go to Sweden. Do you dare to take an oath with a Muslim there?
No.
For business? I mean,
no, and the reason why is that the laws are unequally enforced.
Yes.
If there's a two-tiered system of justice, Tommy Robinson is just a quintessential example of that two-tier justice system that they have in England and in these countries where there's a significant percentage population of Muslims. Again, this is getting back to, when is this going to come to a head?
It's scary.
I would hope that the wave of apostasy would sweep across England, France, and Sweden, and elsewhere, like it has Iran. That they would get the information that we are constantly putting out there, apply it to their faith, and see how bankrupt their faith system is. Not only in its fruits, in the morals that it develops, but also the bankruptcy of its history. It's just not there.
Well, Eric, do you consider the Shahada an oath?
I do, yes.
Okay, so if I didn't intend to make it, then you can't kill me for leaving Islam?
Say that one more. If you did not
if I didn't intend to make the Shahada, I have my fingers crossed. Can you kill me? I mean, I did, but I didn't, and here I'm going.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that, but it says has reached puberty is sane, makes the oath voluntarily, and intends an oath.
And intends, this is the part, the intention.
Right, yeah.
If you don't have the intention, so there are Muslims who come in and they're forcing people to say the Shahada so they can live. You didn't intend to make the Shahada so you can break it. And don't worry, they won't kill you because, no, wait, yes, they will.
Yes, yes they will.
Yeah, I think they're forgetting some things. This is just scary. It's a little bit scary stuff. All right, we're going to get 18.2. I'll read this one. If someone's I'm going to read the one on the right. If someone's tongue slips into it, or he intends to swear an oath about something, but his tongue slips into something else, the oath is not binding. This is a case of false oath. Excuse me. Now let me read the stuff on the left. The oath of someone whose tongue runs away with him and who unthinkingly swears an oath, or someone who intends a particular oath but unintentionally swears to something else, does not count and is and unintentional oath. So you're out, you're out with a braggart or something, and he swears he's going to pay. He likes your car. He swears he's got enough money to buy it. He offers you the money. You shake on it, which in this country is supposed to mean a lot. When you shake, in most of the world, you shake hands, you're solidifying your business deal. Your word is supposed to be your bond. In the business world, that's everything. It guarantees your commitment. And in Christianity, that's your integrity. But here the guy's saying, oh, I didn't mean it, so I can break it. Oh, I didn't mean that promise. Whoa. I mean,
You made me
Eric, how
lie.
many-
I mean, how dare they?
well, I mean, this stuff. It is so bad because I this is where I can't, I'm going to be going into what the Christianity says, but if you're raising children, and I'm picking on the men more than the women because I think this is the guy's job to communicate. It's my sexist way of thinking, okay? The man has to communicate. What he says is important. And I really think the man has to impress that. If the man isn't doing that, forget it. It's not going to be taught. That's my person. I mean, the woman, if she can teach that, God bless her, she's a very strong woman. But I think if a guy is there, and you're welcome to come, Yusuf. I'll put the link in if you'd like. All right. Here we go. I just see this as huge. I mean, you swear, when you say something, you're raising children, and your word isn't important. You change it from day to day because you can't remember. Oh, wait a minute. Who does that? The author of the Quran. Oh, I forgot what I said the day before. I think I was talking about Abraham. And a few days later, I'm saying something else about Abraham, which contradicts what Abraham. Oh, is my word worth any value? I mean, this is the incredible. This is just insane. I mean, how do you live not holding? You can't be trusted. Eric, you're a teacher. You ever have a student who lies through his teeth all the time?
A student?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
how
just
about
picking
the
on.
entire classrooms of
Yeah.
students?
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Sports, yeah.
and this is Yusuf. I don't know if y'all met. He works with Usama. He's outstanding.
Hello.
Hey, glad to have you here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And Yusuf has been helping me along with Usama translate some of this stuff. We're laughing at 18.2. If someone's tongue slips, like this to me almost sounds like a drunk person originally because they're talking about the tongue slipping. But it seems to me like they said something they knew they really didn't intend to commit at the same time. You can say, oh, my tongue slipped and not keep a promise. But I go out of my way to let my kids see. When my kids were younger, I went out of my way to let them know that dad is a man of his word. If I say something, it's not going to change. So they would run to mom sometimes because they know dad is going to keep his word. And this is where I think, I blame the men more than I do the women because I think the dads have to set that standard. Again, it's sexist. I admit to that. But I'll go first to your thoughts on that, Eric, and then we'll go to Yusuf.
Well,
I'm picking on the guys for this one.
there has to be an enforcer within the household, and the dad has to be the enforcer. If you say that, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then you don't do that, then that creates chaos within, but you also lose the trust of your children. And so if you say, look, if you keep doing that, I'm going to whoop you, and they keep on doing it, and you don't whoop them, You know what I'm saying? You have to follow through. So, a mother is more nurturing, of course, and you're going to be more inclined to try to reason through things. But you have to have the one that's just going to flip the heck out on the kids if they start crossing the line, and they have to have that innate fear in the father. But the father has to set the tone, because if he doesn't, then you have chaos.
And it's not just fear. You have to set the tone with love as well. And then they have to know that part of that love is the discipline. All right, Yusuf, your thoughts.
Yes. So I've been watching now for a while. I was eating, so I didn't come earlier. But I think it's more than what you guys are discussing here. You guys were discussing someone having a deal with someone, shaking hands on it, and then breaking that. Yes, in English, I think it's an oath. It's a promise. Here is more like a promise, not with man, promise with God, because you're swearing on it.
And we kind of covered that a little while ago. We were talking about the Shahada. So
Okay,
what if you're
yes.
not promising? If you're not making a willful promise to the Shahada, I mean, or whatever you're promising. Oh, I'm going to fast
Right.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, so this one is this whole chapter in this book is about even it says promise, it says oath, it says, but it's an oath not to man, it's between you and God. So yes, I am shaking hands with you, but in God's name I will keep my word. It's supposed to be this way. So this is breaking an oath with God. A promise, they can break it anytime. I can shake hands with you right now and not promise in God's name, or not. Of course, the Bible tells us not to take oaths, right? And this is the reason why. It's like, but here's the thing. I can shake hands. I'm gonna buy you a car. I have the money for it. But then I don't. I take the car. I never pay. Or I'm late on payments or whatever. So this is a promise between me and you. Really, if it's just a promise, really God has nothing to do with it. This is more serious. This is breaking an oath to God, and they're okay with breaking it. That's what makes it worse.
Yes, that's a good point. Okay, let me read see, Darcy, are you with us yet again?
I'm here.
Okay, can you read 18.3 all the way down to 18.4? And we're just going to read on the right today for this one.
Okay, so the stuff in black.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18.4.
I'm going to start with 18.3.
0.3. Okay. It is only binding. Sorry about the echo.
Mm-hmm.
It is only binding by one of the names of God Almighty, or one of his attributes. H. It is disliked to swear by anyone other than Allah if he intends merely to confirm his words. And it is forbidden if he intends to glorify what he swears by. Can some of you turn your microphones off?
I'm not hearing anything.
I'm hearing kind of an echo. So.
Oh, okay.
18.4. Then among the names of Allah, most high or low, are those by which no one else is called, such as Allah, the most ungracious, the undominant, the weak, and the knower of the unseen. Thus, an oath is binding by them absolutely.
So Yosef, I'm going to ask you, if there, why would you need to take an oath to God and swear to God, by God, on God? That's just kind of, I know that's what it just sounds kind of, you're supposed to swear on something bigger than yourself. And I get that. That's an oath to God when you do that. But I don't know that we would. Or do Muslims do this? They swear and make oaths to each other and then name God as part of it?
I was smiling because in the Islamic world, a very known way to swear by God is to say, in the name of the God of the Kaaba. Okay. So in Arabic, it would be وَرَبُّ الْكَعْبَةِ. Rabb is God, or the Lord. Kaaba is the Kaaba, you know. So the Lord of the Kaaba, right? Now, every time, I mean, it makes me smile because I thought first it was just a Saudi thing. I'm from Saudi Arabia. I thought it was a Saudi thing. It's a Muslim thing. When someone says wa Rabb al-Kaaba, you gotta be careful because Rabb al-Kaaba is none of the 99 names.
Oh.
Yes. So yes, there is Rahman, Rahim, the merciful, the all-knowing, the all-hearing, the all-seeing, all of these attributes, right?
Yes.
The God of the Kaaba is not, or the Lord of the Kaaba is not one of those 99 names.
So if you're making that statement, you're not keeping
Most
your promise.
likely will break it.
Oh.
It's like saying inshallah.
That's quite powerful. That's
Yes.
quite a huge statement.
Yeah.
Wow. And if you're not Muslim, you definitely won't expect that one. Wow.
So that
I'm going to have to pay
that might
attention.
make it a little bit clearer for your question. You know, how can I swear by Allah's name?
So you swear to Allah that you're going to keep you say, okay, Allah, I'm going to commit my commitment. I swear by the Lord of the Kaaba.
Right, but then you'll break
You're
it
not-
anyways. And then when someone says, "Oh, you made an oath," to you, I mean, you cannot really argue it because yes, you did make an oath. Everyone knows, at least Muslims will know who the Lord of the Kaaba is, right? Or supposedly that's what they believe. So you would say, "Well, you made an oath." They will say, or not. They will not. Sorry, they won't say it, but for them to feel not guilty about it to themselves, they will say, well, I did not say one of the 99 names. I did not say the name of Allah in it. I just said by the God of Kaaba. And that goes with everything because I can say by the creator of my pet frog. But it's not in the 99 names. I mean, it's the same thing.
It's
wordplay.
It is sheer wordplay.
Yes.
That's the sad thing. All right. Let's see. We're going to go on. We're going to get to this fun part in a minute. Okay. And Sharon, can you read 018.5, please?
The one in
the top.
The top.
Okay. Yeah, top.
Other names of Allah may be conditionally applied to other than Him, such as Lord of,
There we go. Yeah, Lord Rob. Yeah.
Rob, meaning, for example, homeowner. Huh? Okay. The all compassionate, El Rahim, meaning soft-hearted, or the omnipotent, meaning capable of it. The second term of each of these examples indicating that Allah is not meant. Somebody sent.
That's what you're saying, Yusuf, isn't it? They're saying these things to imply they're making an oath, and because they're not the exact wording they're supposed to use, it's a scam on whoever they're making the oath in front of.
Yes, because it's not meeting the rules of taking an oath. So if I say by the Rab, like this Rab in Arabic, that it's known, it's God, the Lord, right? But now they're saying, well, the Rab can be the Lord of the house, the master of the house. So you're not implying God, you're implying just Rab of what? It can be the Lord of the house, or the Lord, or the master of the house, the master of the car, the master of whatever,
Wow.
right? The building, it's playing with words.
Does that scare anybody? I mean, I'd be so concerned about where I am with keeping my, again, to me, it's about keeping my word. Even with, I'm not saying I'm perfect or by any means close. I would be concerned about giving the right message. And that just,
some of his names, some of Allah's names means that he's a liar.
yes.
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 There's some other names that are just disgusting. He's a disgusting entity, whatever Muhammad dreamed up.
And this is what I tell everyone that I talk to whenever they talk about Islam, whenever they talk about God. In Islam, the picture of God, whoever that God is, I'm not discussing if it's Allah, if it's whoever it is, just the picture of God, the creator, okay, whoever you believe the creator is. It's really it's an ugly picture. It's there is no love in that God. There is no yes, he's called the all merciful, but he's all merciful only to the ones who believe in him, right? It's not like the true God where he loves everyone, he hates the sin. He loves the sinner, he hates the sin.
Yeah, but even Allah doesn't like even Muslim women. I mean, I just find him. I think his attributes are more closely tied to what the devil's attributes are. The liar, and then one of the names Muktabar, Mutakkabir, the proudful one.
Arrogant, I think.
Yeah, arrogant. The arrogant one, yes.
Yeah.
Or the proud, yeah.
Mhm.
That one still hits me every time I see it.
But not only with women, it's even with any believer. For example, there are, I think, 16 or 17 places in the Quran where it says, God does not love this person. God does not love that person. So even if you're a believer, but you're wasteful of resources or money, God does not love you. If you're a believer in Him, but you are arrogant, and it's using the same word that you were just saying. Allah la yuhib al-mutakabbirin. Mutakabbir. A person who is arrogant, God does not love them. So it's not just he does not love women, even if it's a man, but he is a boastful person or a arrogant person or a wasteful person, or what's else? What else is there? There are like, I think 16, 17 happy people. He does not love happy people.
Yeah, that's right. You can't have fun.
You cannot be Muslim and happy.
That always makes me laugh. You can't have fun. You can't be happy. All right, we're gonna go on. That's something to think about. The playing with words. Here we go. 18.6. Would you mind, Eric? You're muted. We do this so often to each other.
Okay. Other of Allah's names are applied to both him and his creatures, such as the living, the existent, or thus seeing an oath sworn by such names is not validly effected unless the swearer specifically intends it as an oath.
And this intention to me is huge. I mean, you could say everything and then you can turn around and say, I didn't intend to. Yeah. Go ahead and continue. 18.7.
Sure. Okay, an oath sworn by the attributes of Allah that are inapplicable to creatures such as Allah's glory, His exaltedness, His endless eternality, or the Quran is validly effected without restriction.
Now you're going to have to pay the the kafara. You're going to have to pay that. That's what they're saying. You can't break this oath
would
without
this be the 99 attributes that exist now, or it was the 99 attributes that existed 100 years ago?
It keeps on changing.
Oh.
It keeps on changing. So I could have swore by something 20 years ago. And,
when did they change those?
Used one of the names that are not existing today, and like I can break it because it's not existing.
Well, when did they change those uses?
It keeps changing. I think the last time the Azhar University in Egypt changed 20 names. I think it was, I mean, not too long ago. Maybe.
Okay, so here's my question.
Less than 10 years
you
ago.
pray, it's like praying the rosary. If you pray those 99 names, isn't that supposed to give you some sort of blessing or some sort of automatic forgiveness of all your sins? Or
supposed to. So this is what people were going against this University of Al-Azhar. How do you change those names? What about all the people that prayed those 99 names? Because if you know them by heart, if you can recite those 99 names by heart, I mean, there are some reward for it. Like you have some kind of good deeds that are granted to you.
Okay. So
Allah needs.
If I prayed the 99 names that were in effect at that time, I'm not getting diddly squat. I'm not getting anything because those names were wrong. Now you have to go with the new names in order to get whatever blessings, or what they call it, raka or whatever, to appease the one with the 99 names, which keep changing.
Absolutely, because and it's the same school, different imams. Because this school, it's been there for hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years. I don't know how, hundreds of years.
Al-Azhar you're talking about?
What is it?
This is Al-Azhar.
Yeah, Al-Azhar is what he said. Yes.
Al-Azhar, yes. Yeah. So it's been there for centuries, right? Now.
So Allah does change. Is that not what we're saying here? And they're agreeing
or
to
at least the Muslims are changing him.
How can you?
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think it's in 18.7. Let me see.
The word permanence, pride, permanence. Well, Allah must not have permanence.
No, where it says swearing. The last line. Or on the Quran, right? Swearing on the Quran. So, for example, a president, when a president here in the U.S. become a president, they have to swear on the Bible, right?
Yes.
Okay. And they do the same thing in Islamic countries. They swear on the Quran. But the Quran is not an attribute of Allah. The Quran is not a name of Allah. So that tells you that they can break it anytime they want.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, technically, Donald Trump in his last oath did not swear on the Bible because John Roberts was the Chief Justice when he administered the oath. Just as soon as Trump got up there, he went to town, and the idea is for Melania to bring up a family Bible of some sort that he was going to put his hand on. And Roberts didn't give him the chance. Did you guys see that? I mean,
yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
controversy. It's the same thing with Barack Obama. Roberts screwed up the oath to Barack Obama and said, "Well," then people are like, "Well, he's not president because he didn't say the right oath." okay, well, they came in later and they did it in the Oval Office, and they made sure that they got all the right words in there. And
That's two in a row is too hard to believe. It's just,
well, the one with Obama, I think, was in 2008,
yeah.
2009 for his first term, and then so he did get. I don't know.
Oh, he did it. He messed up the second oath too. I remember.
Yeah,
That
but
it's like 3 in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Barack Obama, what he kept not telling everyone is that he is a Muslim, and he could have done that hayal that brought up before
Yeah.
about lying while taking an oath.
Oh yeah.
Because his administration was one. It was disgusting.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I want to keep going here because otherwise I'm not going to get where I'm going. Unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's. 018.8. If they may be used in reference to a created being, which is what you're saying, Yusuf, such as Allah's knowledge, power, and right, then an oath is validated by them unless one intends by the knowledge of what is known, by the power, what is possible, and by the right worship. And here's the thing that kills me. You see this term right worship? This term right worship, do you know that right worship has the 4 pillars in it and jihad? That is, I mean, I have there's a person who divides all 4 pillars. There's like all these different forms of worship. Right worship includes the 4 pillars and jihad. I was kind of amazed when I learned that. This stuff is just humorous. Like, yeah, again.
Gotta run, folks. We'll see y'all.
All right. God bless. Thank you for joining us. All right. I'm going to go on. Here we go. 18.9. Let's see. Darcy, would you mind reading this page?
The right or left?
Let's go to the left.
Okay. 18.9. An oath is validly affected when a person says, I swear by that, or I've sworn by that, unless the person merely intends to inform. And then 18.10. Unless one particularly intends it as an oath is not validly affected when the following expressions are used. I will not do such and such for the life of Allah, or I resolved by Allah, or by the covenant of Allah, His guarantee, trust, sufficiency, or I ask you, or I swear by, that you must do such and such.
All right. This is just,
Weird.
yeah. It says, by Allah's life, I bear witness, I swear by Allah, and I'm looking at, this is part of when I looked at some of this, I mean, Yusuf, you're so right. If they're making an oath and they're not using his intention, they're not using their intentions, these are supposed to be oaths to Allah that they can break. Why would you make an oath to Allah that you can break? That's something I can't understand. We have someone who wants to join us but doesn't want to use his name. And
No, but I'm not using my name. No, I say
yeah, I'll let him join. Okay. Hopefully we won't be taking too much of a risk here. We'll see. You're welcome to join us.
Hello, sir.
I can. This is somebody called Unknown. All right. Any thoughts to what this says?
Sir, you are doing great work, sir.
Excuse me?
Speak up, buddy.
All right. He's going to tell us we don't know what we're talking about, but Yusuf here speaks Arabic. I'm guessing he didn't. And he's afraid that, I mean, this is the thing. We're looking at Arabic. I'm using Google Translate, and then I'm stealing from Yusuf and Usama's knowledge of Arabic and trying to make sure these are correct. I see stuff that doesn't look right, and I try to double check with them. Sometimes this takes longer than I want. I'm sure it takes longer than I want at times. We went over one that we're going to be hitting in a minute. That is just kind of mind-numbing. Let's just go on to. I think this is one of the next ones. Examples of breaking and not breaking oaths. This one, I'll read this one, and everybody can have a laugh. If one swears, I mean, look over here on the right. So Usama and Yusuf were in, and I think this part too. One of the things they want me to understand, go back, is translation here cannot be taken literally. So you have to understand culture and how things are worded as being, I guess the concept of like idioms in English. You have to know a little bit more with understanding of this wording. It's, if you take it literally, it doesn't make any sense. Looking at what he said, if one swears, I will not eat wheat, but if I make bread, I'm not breaking the oath because I'm not eating wheat. Wait a minute. Let me ask, Sharon or Darcy, do either of you make bread?
I used to.
Long time.
Okay, so did you make wheat bread or make something with wheat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Are you still eating wheat if you eat bread?
Yeah.
Made with wheat.
I mean, even if you look at the ingredients at the store of the breads they sell.
What about rye bread?
Okay. I will not eat rye, and I bake it into bread, and I'm still eating rye, correct?
Yeah. Well, this is not really very clear because some breads don't have wheat in it, and they'll even say it.
Well, okay. Let's just say but the idea is you're taking the wheat yourself,
Yeah.
and making it into bread, and now you're swearing you're not eating the wheat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm not using white flour, but I take it and I make it into bread. Did I not still just eat the flour? I found this.
Is that flour not in your system now? This is this is the thing. Like, I swear I'm not drinking water, but then I go get those flavored powder or whatever I put it in that in a bottle of water and I drink it. I say, well, it's not water, it's flavored water.
I mean, this is justification. This is insanely stupid. And then the part that got me, which Usama and Yusuf caught, notice in the middle on the right, which you don't see on the left. I will not enter a mosque. It's in the Arabic. But if you look at the English on the left here, you don't see anything about that. Why is it? Because it doesn't make any sense. They don't want us to know how badly it's written. It's really, really bad. Like,
well, what? I don't understand. Is there a consequence if they do?
I think that they were going to use this as an oath, an example of breaking an oath. I will not enter a mosque, and they never completed the thought.
Okay.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Do you agree, Yusuf?
So yes, it says here the sentences in English there. I won't go to a mosque. I won't eat bread or wheat or whatever. But here in the Arabic, those two, the first two words, it says whoever takes an oath saying this and this and this. So yes, it might be confusing a little bit in English because it doesn't say, I swear by Allah that I'm doing this and this and this. But this is all of these statements. I will not go to the mosque. I will not eat wheat. I will not drive a car, whatever. Those are all oaths that they're doing, and they can break them. So those are just examples of how, well, not how to break, but examples of breaking an oath, or if it's okay to break that oath.
How do you
It's
guys
just-
trust each other?
Well,
That's a good question. I mean, people just learned to deal with it because it's very common to break an oath. And then when someone promises you something and he swears to Allah on this thing, and you had to experience experience that person breaking that oath, then next time you're not going to trust them. But I mean, you fell into it one time.
and this is where it's gonna get worse in a minute. I think it's the next one. Get this. Here we go. This is the beginning of the weirdness. Here we go. Again, this was a difficult passage. Yusuf and Usama worked on this for me. Thank you, both of you. If you say, I won't dress Zayd in a suit, instead you gift him a suit or buy him a suit, this is not considered a lie. If you swear you will not speak, but you read the Quran, or you use sign language, or write it down, or I will not marry, I will not divorce, I will not tell, I will hire someone else to do it. I mean, it says I will not eat I think Usama was picking on dates because he's been eating dates. But I don't know if dates in here.
Yeah, it is.
But
it is in there.
it was. Yeah. I was just wondering what he said. Okay.
But I think he saw that sentence and he left everything else and went jumped to that sentence.
But you mix it in a basket with other dates, and and he actually had the other day. He had a bunch of dates on picked up, but the date back in. I thought it was hilarious. So, I mean, if you've never had dates, you can find them usually at your local supermarket these days. You say you won't eat the date, you put it back in the bag or in the wherever it's holding the dates, and you go and pick another one.
You're getting away with it because you're not eating this date, you're eating that date.
Right, and even the last thing that they said, I will not drink this river. I will not drink the water of this river. That's what it says in the Arabic. I will not drink the water of this river. But then you go and you just get some in your hand and drink it. Well, you did not drink the water of the river. You didn't dry up that river. You just had a little bit.
I'll fix that. Of this river. There we go. All right. This is just, to me, it's wordplay. Why would you do that if you're taking it? This is all about an oath with your God. You're playing with words with the person you consider the creator.
This is because it's easy for them, Paul, to when it says do not take the name of your God in vain. This is taking the name of if you believe that this is God, this is what you're doing. God to you means nothing.
Yes.
I can lie in his name, I can kill in his name, I can do all of these things in his name because he's nothing to me.
And that says pretty much everything. I keep saying that their concept of God is too small. Well, here you have it on full display in Shariah.
Their God is Muhammad. Because they don't get offended when Allah is used too much. But if you say Muhammad, they just go, no.
So, Yusuf, tell them what you were just telling us about the apostasy rule. I mean, what is apostasy in Islam, really?
Apostasy is just to change your religion or leave the religion of
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm saying it wrong. Who are you? Okay, the one you're offending God. It's not apostasy.
Oh, blaspheming.
Blaspheming. Okay, that's
blaspheming. Yes, blaspheming is blaspheming is really is against Muhammad. When you I can go to a Muslim country right now and say something bad about Allah. I can curse the name of Allah, and I might get beat up. I might be taken to prison. I don't know for how long. But if I do the same thing to the name of Muhammad, I would be killed right away. That's why in many Muslim countries, they when the cartoonist drew Muhammad in France, I think, was it in France?
Yes.
And the whole Middle East went crazy about it. That's before he was killed, even like when it first happened. They were shouting. I don't know if you noticed or not, but they were shouting, "Illa Muhammad." Illa Muhammad means except, like everything except Muhammad. Like you can cross every line, but Muhammad's line. So he could have drew
So
something.
this puts out Muhammad as a greater and more strong being than their God.
Yeah. So he could have, that cartoonist could have drew something, drew a demon and said, "This is Allah." They wouldn't be that mad. I mean, I'm sure they will get mad, but not that crazy.
That is, no matter how many times I hear that, I'm going to start. It's an example of a small God to me. That's a really powerful statement, though, Yusuf. I think you should say that more often. It's pretty powerful. Okay, Sharon, would you mind 19.3?
Still on 19.2.
19.2. I only see 19.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't change it. I'm sorry. Here we go. You can just read the bottom. Yeah, you can just read the bottom. 19.3.
Okay. First, for example, if he enters the house forgetfully, ignorantly, under duress or force, he has not broken his oath, and the oath remains and has not been dissolved.
So what's up here that we don't have in there is I will not. One swears I will not enter the house, but if he enters the house forgetfully, ignorantly, or under duress or force, he has not broken his oath. I kind of get some of that. I mean, if you're forced to go in, or the ignorantly part, I don't know if I can excuse. I mean, because that, if you make an oath and you forget it, you're still to blame. That's how I would say. Even if you've made an oath and you're doing something under duress or forced, I get those two exceptions. Forgetfully or ignorantly, I mean, what's an oath for if you aren't going to commit it? Okay, I forgot it yet. Tomorrow comes along, I forgot I made the oath. I mean,
but still, if there's a
that's not good.
punishment, if there's a punishment by the what you believe, like if there is not, I'm not talking about a earthly punishment. If there's a godly punishment for this, or a atonement, I would say, like
Yes.
if you need to atone with a sacrifice, or whatever you do, or like the payments that they're doing, but whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with that shortly. Okay.
Still, I mean, even if you're forgetful, even if you do it, if you're ignorant about it, you'll have to pay it. That's the deal.
But here they give you. I mean, you're saying you're free, but I don't know. I mean, it says the oath remains. It does say, and the oath remains and has not been dissolved. So the oath remains. Yeah. Okay. Forced. Okay. Okay. This is really. It's very wordy, and I'll put myself to it. 19.4. And if this doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Or let him eat this tomorrow. So he ate it that day, or he destroyed it, or it went bad. Or if it, I mean, talking about, okay, so let's say he says he's going to eat something tomorrow, but he ate it that day, or it went bad, or it was destroyed the next day, or it was possible to eat it, where it was just, again, it went bad or whatever. Or I won't live in this house. So he left because he is moving to another house, because he's grabbing a piece of fabric he left behind. He hasn't broken his oath. This is very, very wordy, but this part here caught my eye. Or I do not wear this garment while he's wearing it. I can't. I know you were trying to explain this yesterday, but it still doesn't make sense to me. How do you say you're not wearing something when you're wearing it?
Right. That's this is the thing. It's like sometimes we try to translate word for word, and it cannot be translated. Like no matter how much you try, it cannot be translated. I mean, now it does not really make sense. But I read it in the Arabic too, and it doesn't make sense. So it's not. Don't feel bad.
Oh, I mean, but that, to me, this is a statement about the culture of lying, not only to God, which is what we've read is pretty permissible, but lying to yourself.
Right.
I mean, you got to be lying to yourself to say, I do not wear this, and then you wear it. I mean, it's not just a lie to God; it's a lie to yourself, and that's permissible.
This takes me back to what you said earlier before I came in, when you were talking about the Shahada. They're doing the same thing with the Shahada.
Yes.
You were saying that I bear witness, but you never bear witness. You're not a witness of this thing. You've never seen Allah. You've never met Muhammad. How do you bear witness to something that you haven't seen? So
you can't taste him. You can't touch him. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the same game, and this is, I wish people would. This is where I think Sharia. I mean, I think the Quran is incredibly powerful, bringing people to Christ. At the same time, I think reading through this stuff, if you actually pay attention, some of the stuff is pretty sick. But at the same time, this stuff destroys Islam, because you can't trust them, because they don't even keep their vows to their own God. That's pretty. It says, to me, that's pretty powerful. All right. Darcy, can you read 19.5, please? You can read on the left.
Okay. When a person's swearing an oath about something in the future, affirming or denying that it will occur, includes the expression, Inshallah, before finishing the oath, then the oath is not broken in any event if he thereby intends to provide for exceptions. That's the word exceptions. But if he merely says it out of habit, not intending to make an exception to his oath, or if he says it after having finished swearing the oath, then the exception is not valid, because when an oath has been completed, its efficacy is established and not eradicable by a statement of exception.
I'm still stuck on, it's intention. Intended to make an exception. Okay, so you intended, but you kept your mouth shut? I get you make mistakes. I'm not going to deny we make mistakes. And sometimes you say, I should have said this. I'm not going to deny those things happen. But the deal in reality is you say, okay, I'm going to do this, and you're supposed to keep your word. And if you're not doing that, even to your God, you're not keeping your word to your God. And if we're talking about business, this is your whole business career is done. All right. If you're going to do this to your God, what does that say about your relationship to your God?
Right.
That it's destructive. I can't see anything. I mean, how do you have a relationship with your God if this is how you're going to treat him? And if we're looking at these oaths as all being to God, I mean, what do your children think of your relationship with your God when you treat your God like this?
It is just purely lip service.
After
So,
all,
Yusuf,
it's Islam.
is that what Muslim children see of their
Oh,
parents?
yes. When a child, I mean, the biggest things that a child will learn, they will learn these things from home. If I see my parents doing things repeatedly, I will think it's okay to do these things.
And
And I will do it once I'm grown to the age where I can deal with people on my own. I'll do this because I believe it's the normal way of dealing with people.
yeah,
Back to when you were saying about the relationship with God, you're talking about Islam. There is no relationship with God in Islam. You cannot have a relationship with God. It's you're not.
you're a slave.
Yes, you are a slave. You're doing. It's based on works. So
Hmm.
the more you do, the more you please Allah. And
It's still there's still a relationship there, even though it's master and slave. That's a relationship. I mean, but
somewhat, yeah.
it's still still some form of relationship there, whether the slave wishes to admit it to the relationship or not. You're the subservient spit. You're the place where Allah spits, basically. I don't, or whatever you want to say about what the person is who serves them, but it's not a healthy relationship. I'll say it that. And if Allah doesn't love you, and you definitely don't love him by the way you respond to him, because you can break your agreements with him, and it's legal under Islam. This says something about. I mean, what does Islam create? If it creates these type of allowances, the gods of Allah being the God of exception, or the as Darcy likes to point out, and poor Shirley gets blamed for all of it. But yeah, I do enjoy listening to you to say that, Darcy. All right, we're gonna go a little bit farther. And I just got them. Okay, 20.1. And an expiation is okay. This expiation. This is the payment. All right. It says expiation. This is the payment you make. This is really weird when you think about it. We don't think about paying oaths. Catholics used to buy indulgences. They can still do that today, I think, in Vatican City. I don't know if they're still selling them, but they were a few years ago. Because I have pictures of that stuff still being sold over there when people were visiting the Vatican. That's the closest I can get to the concept of a group under Christianity doing that. But here you're paying to break your vows. And it says, if he swears and is required to make expiation, make a payment. If he is expiating with money, here we go. It is permissible to break the oath after he pays. If he's expiating with fasting, it is not permissible until after that. I'm sorry. Am I going to starve myself because I broke an oath? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how people would take that one.
I think this translation is not right.
What do you have then?
In the Arabic, it says, if he's paying money, breaking the oath is permissible before or after breaking the oath.
He's paying money, breaking the oath.
Here's the thing. So if he is expiating, what was this word? Expiating with money. So the yellow part. See where it's highlighted yellow?
Oh, yeah, I'll catch it. Yeah.
So if he's expiating with money,
Mhm.
it is permissible to break the oath before or after that. That's what it says in the Arabic.
Oh, before or after?
Before or after. But if he is expiating by fasting, it's not permissible except for after.
Okay, that makes more sense
Until
with the
after.
wording.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, that makes more sense. All right, we're gonna go someplace now. What is this expiation they're talking about? This is, no matter how many times I look at this, it's just kind of weird. All right, so I looked up this word that they used for expiate. They used the term kafara, correct?
Mhm.
And under Ask Islampedia, they said when the term kafara is used in fiqh or Islamic jurisprudence, it would mean an act or prescribed atonement or a form of penitence. And below it says, in effect, the kafara is but a manifestation of one's sincere repentance for their transgression of a specific mistake. That is pretty close to the Catholic concept of penance. I mean, it's works. All right. Now, get back over here. We're going to get into something humorous in a minute. All right. So now we're going back into this. The expiation consists of any one of the following. They said to free a sound Muslim slave. I don't know why they're using sound Muslim slave. And again, when you free a Muslim slave in Islam, you can own a portion of a slave. So you freed your portion of the slave. Somebody else may own their portion, so the slave is not free. So
Yeah, but
that's
sound back then meant sound full mind. He wasn't
yes,
broken mind.
yeah. To feed 10 people, how much do you think it costs to feed 10 people? And look what they're talking about. These are poor or short of money. Each 0.51 liters of grain. Is that a lot of food? 0.51 liters of grain. We're talking about. I mean, you're thinking about a bowl. I'm sorry, a bowl of grain. We could. I mean, think about a bowl of cereal. How big that is. That's about how much we're talking. That's what they get for the whole day. Even if it's not grain, Nafi school permits giving its value and its money to provide clothing of any kind of 10 such persons. If one's unable to do the above, one must fast for 3 days. So
Paul, real quick, I will have to be honest with what's practiced in Muslim countries today.
yes.
They don't follow this third of, or like a bowl of what you said, like a bowl of grain or whatever. What they do today is when they say feed a poor person, you feed him a meal like you're eating yourself.
Yes.
This is really what like it's a full meal. Like I've seen it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, just to be
That's nicer than what Shariah says.
Yeah.
So people are better than Shariah in general, is what I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes good sense, because you really don't want to be seen as a filthy person. If you want to go strictly by the Shariah, you're gonna starve somebody. You're not helping that much. And I can't see how you would consider this, I mean, any kind of wisdom, if you're not going to feed somebody what you think is good for you, and you're trying to get a deal with God on breaking an oath. All right, this is where things are going to start to get funny. There's an app for that. I was showing this to Yusuf yesterday. We were laughing. There is an app for if you want to break your oath. But take a look at how much it costs. It's only a singular meal, right?
Yes, but I mean, how? I don't know. First of all, I don't know how it's 120 pounds.
That's
right?
for breaking the fast.
Okay.
It's 20 pounds if it's just breaking an oath. But
Mhm.
I think the kafara is like if it's during Ramadan and you're fasting, you want to break your fast. That's what I think that's for.
Yeah. So if you're breaking a fast at one day of Ramadan, and it depends on what Quran I'm reading. Some translations will say feed one poor person,
Yes.
and some translations will say feed multiple, and doesn't even say a number.
And I think that's what this is, because I thought I heard in this one, I think it was 10 people. I'll double check that, but I think they gave a number in here in the Reliance the Traveler. I'm pretty sure it was 10 that would actually come close to this 120 to 20. So can you imagine? You know you're going to break your oath. You just go online, give $20 to. They're supposed to be using the money to do what? Feed 10 people. People, look up at the top here. There is Kurbani 2025, Gaza. Oh, okay, wait. Is this money going to feed people, or is it going for jihad? I mean, if this is zakatable, it's probably going to jihad.
Right.
And this is the.
And imagine the thing that we were reading earlier, the part that we fixed, the last thing that I fixed before or after the oath. So I can take an oath and I'm already planning to break it. I just go and pay it forward, I guess. I don't know. Is that
This is. I'm never going to stop laughing about this. I was just trying to learn more about kafara, and I came up to this site, and I'm sorry, I've been laughing ever since I found it. There's an app for that. I want to break my oath. Let me give you $20. Leave me alone. Wait. Are you saying that to your God, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the example. I think this is scary. So we're gonna go a little bit farther. I was having a conversation with Usama. He's really concerned that he does not see this stuff in the Quran. So I says, look, this is the stuff they're claiming. This is when I read the Ask Islam and a few others, what verses they're saying in the Quran this refers to. One was 2:25. Allah will not hold you responsible for your mere utterance in an oath, but he will hold you responsible for that which your hearts gained, and Allah is forgiving, forbearing. And Usama said, this only refers to oaths that you don't intend. Well, isn't that what the Sharia said? Like, hey, I didn't really intend it. Right. Kids will do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If they're holding it behind their hands when they make the oath, is this what they're doing? Yes. Yeah. Oh, and here's the other one. 66:2. Allah has allowed you to be released from your oaths, and Allah is your protector, and he's the knower and the wise. Now, wait a minute. This is a promise that was Allah gave only to Muhammad, all right, not to all Muslims. But if Muhammad's the perfect man to Allah, and you want to idolize him, is this not okay for you? I mean, these are questions you have to ask. It's given in Islamic responses that have to do with this. So I know Usama's right. This passage is specifically to Muhammad. But at the same time, if you don't... Yes, please.
Do you know the story behind this verse?
This is a promise that he can have. He's allowed to have sex with
Mary the Copt.
Yeah, Mary the Cot. Yes.
Yeah.
He
was with his wife Hafsa.
Mm-hmm.
And he sends her home because he says, "Hey, honey, don't you miss your dad? Like, you don't want to go and visit your dad?" her dad was Umar, the second caliph after Muhammad. So he sends her away, and when she goes to, or he tells her that your dad misses you or something like this. So she goes to her dad's house. She visits him. I guess her dad gets rid of her. sends her back to the house, and she comes home and she sees Muhammad. She catches him with Hafsa in her bed. Oh, not Hafsa, Mary.
Mary
in
the
her
cop. Yep.
And she, he gets in trouble, and he promises her he's not going to do it anymore. He's not going to have sex with her anymore. And she's just a slave, not sex slave. So after a while, I guess he misses Mary the Copt, and boom, he gets this verse. Whatever Allah made lawful to you, do not make it unlawful. So whatever you have, you swore to Hafsa, you can break this. You can break this oath.
So you can have sex with your sex slaves. Doesn't matter what your wives want. Okay, Allah says it's okay. You can do it because Allah said Muhammad could do it, right? Oh, so do you have the right? This is again. These are the passages I found about breaking oaths. There's only two, and if you look at that, all that writing we just read about breaking oaths, and none of them in the Quran really refer to this. The type of stuff we've been talking about. That's kind of scary. I mean, I'm looking at some of this stuff. It's just kind of weird. It's just weird. All right. So I started looking at hadiths. Okay, we want to be serious and say we looked at this stuff. So okay, Sahih Muslim. It says in the English, he who has to take an oath, he must not take an oath, but okay, now listen. Umar is saying he heard Muhammad say this. He who has to take an oath, he must not take oath, but by Allah. The Quraysh used to take oaths by their dads. So he said, do not take an oath by your fathers. Okay, your dads, okay? Don't swear on your dads. Okay, because you want to swear on something bigger than yourself. I guess the dads are dead. Maybe you're swearing on the dead people. That's not a good thing. You got to swear on something bigger than you because the dead are not bigger than you. They're gone. All right. This is the one that makes me laugh. Notice hadith of the day. When I was looking up this hadith, I found it at the same time of where it was put on hadith of the day, and they titled this, Today's Beautiful Hadith is all about breaking oaths. This is the picture that came with it. And this is by Bukhari. This is Bukhari's collection. Who's it narrated by? Aisha. Oh, that her dad never broke his oath till Allah revealed the order of the legal expiation for oath. Abu Bakr said, wait. Yusuf, what were you saying about this? What's the problem with this?
The problem is that Abu Bakr is not the prophet. He cannot say hadith. The hadith always goes back to Muhammad, not to Abu Bakr, not to Umar, not to... Yes, I understand there is hadith that go to, but it's not supposed to. It's supposed to go back all the way to Muhammad. I can have a chain of narration, 30, 40 people, but has at the end to say, and Muhammad, so this person said that, this person said that, Muhammad said. We don't see it here. It stops at Abu Bakr.
Yes. And, and I've seen them with Umar as well. And this is just, and the isnads, what I know about the hadith is the isnads appeared later, which are the chains and so they did these collections and then they added the isnads later, which is really insane. The more you learn about this stuff, the more Islam invalidates itself. I mean, this part he says, and this is again, I want to read this because I want you to think about how little they really think of their God. Abu Bakr said, if I ever take an oath to do something and later find that to do something else is better, then I accept Allah's permission and do which is better. Wait, he's not even, okay. Think about that. He can break an oath because he can find a way. I think if you make an oath to God, you got real problems when you start breaking it. So this is another Islamic site, the Shia put up, and I'm just looking at oath. It says similar to a vow, but it must be sworn by one of the mighty names of Allah. Okay, and they list that if need fulfilled and promise not kept. Oh, feed, they're giving a number: feed 10 poor, clothe 10 poor, free a slave, or fast for 3 consecutive days. Okay, this is according to the Shia. Or you can just use the app. That part, I'm sorry. If you're feeding 10 for $20, okay, maybe you're feeding people in Iraq or Syria or wherever. Okay, definitely not helping your home people in your own country. All right. So what does the Bible say about oaths? Numbers 32. If a man vows a vow unto the Lord or swears an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. Oh, keep your oaths. This is what the Bible is telling us. This is in the first 5 books of the Bible, which is known as the Torah, the law. Okay. What this one? Matthew 5:33-34. Again, you have heard that it has been said by them of old time, you shall not forswear yourself, but you shall perform unto the Lord your oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne. Oh, don't swear. Don't make these oaths. All right. And don't swear on, this is important. All right, so we shouldn't be making these oaths. All right, Ecclesiastes 5:5. Usama pointed this one out to me. Better it is that you should not vow than that you should vow and not pay. Pay means you complete the vow. All right, you don't end it, you complete it. There's a difference. That means if you make an oath and it's supposed to be for your entire life, you keep it. That's how the payment comes in. And this is the credibility we have to think about. Where is our credibility? Where do we stand? Darcy's got me laughing, looking for the app that applies to what you want. Okay. I'm sorry. Probably shouldn't be laughing at that. All right. Okay, let's go on. This is the only way I accept support, is supporting my ministry through buying books and things like that. I'm not going to put out a play. I might an appeal other than this. I want you to get your money's worth out of stuff that I put together. But this is all free. All this stuff. If anybody ever wants stuff like this, they can just ask, and I'll send the PowerPoint to you for free. My goal here, looking at all this information, is to look at what is the Quran telling us. And I say that, what is the Quran telling us? What is Sharia telling us? Is this something we want ruling our country? Do you want this as the law of the land in the United States? Muslims have come here and say they're here and that's what should be the law of the land. We have them on video doing this all over the world. There's a recent video, I believe in London and in Denmark and Switzerland, Germany, recent videos, I should say, where they're saying, we're going to take over. We're going to implement Sharia. Is this really what you want?
Before they were trying to get away from Sharia in the countries they fled.
That's an interesting point. And I sit there and I like to point that out, but at the same time I'm sitting there, okay, if you're saying you left for that reason, but you want that more, did you really come here and lie to us originally about trying to get away from it? Or did you just come here to destroy the country so you could implement Sharia? And I think they're more here to destroy than they are here to
the point is,
enjoy.
they don't really know Sharia because they haven't read it.
And if you agree with that?
Yes, it's a very good point. If I was in a Muslim country, if I'm Muslim in a Muslim country, I would be able to practice the Sharia better than anywhere else. Better than a non-Muslim country. So why would I leave a Muslim country come to a country where it's, according to the Muslims, full of infidels, and try to enforce Sharia law or Sharia, where then I complain that I'm persecuted. I cannot even practice my law. I cannot practice my religion in this country that claims to be the free country. It gives me the freedom of choice, the freedom of religion. But that's not a. This is not a. What do I want to say? It's not a freedom of religion when it involves the lives of other people.
Yes.
I don't mind you practicing your religion as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. I don't care if you're building a gay bar somewhere, as long as you're keeping it to yourself. You're not doing anything to other people. You're not trying to enforce your ideas on children. That's you. You're an adult. You do whatever you want to do. Same thing with Islam. If your religion does not affect anyone, it doesn't affect someone's life, it doesn't affect someone's well-being. I don't care what it is, but everything in that religion and in Islam affects others around them who are non-Muslims.
And it's repeated throughout the Quran. It's repeated throughout the Hadith. It's repeated throughout the Sharia that those who are not Muslim are totally affected by it. And that is the truth. And now I'm going to say this. What we've been sharing here is so important. If you found a reason to leave Islam, great. I'm going to say if you have this little faith in your God that you believe you can just break your vows to your God, you make your God this tiny. All right. He's not worth your time if your God is that small. My God is so big, I can't even comprehend how great he is. I'm not even close to comprehending it. And I study the scriptures. I can't even come close to comprehending how great he is. Yet you have a God that you can put in a box, take him out by breaking your oaths, and put him back again. That's what you're allowed to do by paying an app, by paying an app $20 or whatever, because you could put your own amount in there. I'm gonna be laughing about that one for a while. I'm sorry. That's reason to leave Islam. There's an app so you can deny Allah. Oh. Right. And the money goes to jihad. It's stated pretty much. Why else are they talking about Gaza on there?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Support Hamas. Break your oath to Allah. Oh. That's a little confusing, but that's what that site said. Okay. Make a choice for Christ. And I'm going to say, if you do this from what we're doing, please contact, give the glory to God. Contact the Straight Way of Grace Ministry. We want to celebrate with you. I'm not always giving out my email and stuff, but I tell you, if you want any of this that I've shared today, contact me. You can contact BEREAN_research@yahoo.com. And I will send you a copy of this. Just ask for the PowerPoint and mention the numbers, and I will send this to you. My goal is to get the information out. That's where I feel like God has me here as a teacher, as a one who shares truth. And I don't have a choice. Why? Because this is what God's called me to do. It's not always easy to do what God's called you to do, because sometimes you want to do other things. And I'll say this, there's better joy in doing what God's called you to do. I mean, there might be something else I want to do. This is what brings me joy. And I know why. It's because it's what God's called me to do. That's it. I find it humorous, You'll hear me laugh about it once in a while, but you want to know when my eyes light up? It's when I'm doing this kind of stuff, because I'm teaching evangelists. I'm teaching people to find out what the truths are, and that means I have to study too. So every session I'm talking with people. I'm doing research. This is what you have to do it. When God wants you to do something, you have to put the time in, and it's worth it in the long run.
Hallelujah.
Last words, Yusuf.
Well, I just pray that God continue to use you for His glory. And I'm sorry, I don't know names.
Darcy. That's
Darcy. I'm sorry. Yes, because yeah. And same to you, Darcy. And we ask God for protection, for wisdom in dealing with people and subjects, especially harsh subjects like this. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because if they do, they're bigots, they're Islamophobes, they're, But hey, I mean, someone will have to do it. And I know if you have the desire to serve God and you feel like you're called to do this kind of work, it is very mentally rewarding. It's very it's an accomplishment if you go through all of this and then out of 100 people, one person hears it and makes takes the big step, especially for a Muslim. I mean, I say it's anyone, but to me, because I came from that background, I think I have a soft spot in my heart for Muslim people. It's worth everything when when I hear about a Muslim coming to Christ, or anyone who doesn't know Christ who comes to Christ. It brings tears to my eyes. It's it's wonderful, only because we tasted the true God. We know, we feel His presence.
Say that again, because that's the truth, and Darcy will agree with me. We have tasted. Hey, that's the kind of shahada you can take. We have tasted
Amen.
God. We have. We might not see Him physically, but you know what? God has given to us, and we have. I mean, this is. You want to take a shahada? You want to bear witness to the living God? I'll say this: bow down on your knees, ask God to forgive you, and I put it this way: for your stupidity. All right. First, guys, I say for doing the stupid things. All right. Us guys, we do the stupid things. We just do them. Okay. Little boys will sit there and laugh when you say it because they know they did something stupid. All right. But yeah, ask God to forgive you for your sins. Ask Him to come into your life and watch.
Mm-hmm.
You will immediately taste one thing. Usually it's tears.
Mm-hmm.
Because you feel that lift of burden off of your shoulders, that Jesus takes that burden you've been carrying. You don't even know you've been carrying it. You will realize that burden was lifted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the greatest thing you'll ever experience in your life. And it's worth everything. So I challenge each of you to make that choice. Darcy, any last words?
Yeah, Yusuf, you haven't heard my story, but it's going on 5 years now since I had cancer.
Oh, wow.
And the day I found out, I saw the look on the secretary or receptionist's face, and I knew, like, yeah, I have cancer. But I felt nothing but peace.
Amen.
Like everything is going to be okay. And I'm still here. I'm still fighting. And it's truly amazing be on Jesus' team, to be in partnership with the Yusufs, the Nabils, and Paul, of course, and all the Christians that left Islam. And I keep praying that more Muslims will have Jesus come to them into their dreams, and they leave that brainless ideology, or rather idiotology. So,
Are you going through chemotherapy now, or?
no, this is almost 5 years ago.
Okay.
So I've been clear for over 4 years now.
Amen.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm a cancer survivor too, so I know. I had a lymphoma in 2010.
Praise
Oh,
God.
I was still Muslim. Had some touchy feelings about it. But it's great. It's God takes care of us even before we know Him. He's
Yes.
Yeah.
See, you want to get in touch with the God. I mean, this is the cool. Osama had a guest on, and he said he wanted what Christians had. He said, we have access to miracles. You know what? I lead a prayer group once every week, and everyone comes to the prayer group, not just to pray. We can't wait to hear what the miracles were that week. we come in, okay, what happened? So I'm the guy who keeps the book, okay, any new praise reports, and people will be lit, okay, this. I mean, we have someone we've been praying for. Some of this seem like simple things, but if you're the person that needs this prayer, okay, a person had a hip replacement, was having difficulty getting around, and okay, he's improving, but this week he takes two. He's now back to where he was, and he's comfortable taking 2 steps at a time, and he was all excited. Like, I couldn't do this the week before, and it's just where I was before I had before I needed the operation is what I should say. And it's like, because before he had that operation, he was walking with a big, huge cane. This guy is 6'4". And he's a big guy. He's not heavy. He's just all muscle. And you think about how much more pain that person would be in. God does these amazing things. I mean, some things are simple. Some things are difficult. We've seen children healed of cancer, and we get all excited. Again, writing these things down is exciting. One of the things my church has been talking about is when you pray, you should probably keep a prayer journal, because the one thing that's really enjoyable to do is to go back and read those praise reports. I'll be honest, I'm not doing great at doing that for myself, but it is fun and exciting to go back and read the prayer journals that we've gone through. We write the list down for everybody every week. When we have praying for somebody to get a new place, and we get there, and that actually happens. And you're reading about, when we think about it, we pray for one person, one couple, we pray for them for over a year to get a place. They got the place, and it went beyond what they needed. And you sit there like, wow. I mean, this was something worth waiting for. Sometimes it's God's timing, not ours. So again, I'm going to tell you, you Muslims out there that are listening and want to argue with us about this, notice I did not, I didn't bring my scriptures, I didn't bring the Bible in till after we read the passages of the Reliance the Traveler, which is Shariah. We looked at the Arabic and the translations that Google provided, and that Usama and Yusuf cleared up, because they weren't even close to good. And I'm willing to correct things. I want to be as accurate as I can. So if we're doing that and we're sharing your scriptures and they say these things, you serve a very small God. Find one that's bigger. Jesus. And with that said, say good night. God bless everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
God bless.
All right.
good night.